In this video, we're going to go through the 3 most common different scenarios of running water lines that we like to use, so stay tuned. Alright, welcome to the Plumbing Gurus. My name is Karsten.
My name is Clayton.
And on this channel, we strive to save you money and keep you informed on all the proper plumbing practices. So stay tuned and let's jump into this. Alright, so the 3 most common scenarios that we've used in the past is what we call home run, semi-home run, and then just tee and crimp. I don't know if there's a technical term for it, but we call it tee and crimp. So a home run would be where you just run all of your fixtures, so your toilets, every single hot and cold fixture, back to the mechanical room with no fittings. So a lot of times guys will buy like 500 foot, 300 foot rolls of pipe, and they will just drill all their holes first and run their pipes from the fixture to the mechanical room. And the reason that home run system is nice to have is you have no fittings. So the only fitting you have is in your cabinet and then in your mechanical room. So the only way you have a leak is if somebody drills a hole through it or whatever. So it is a nice thing to have, but the only downside to there's a couple actually. The biggest downside to having a home run system is you can't have a recirc line. So you can't recirc the hot. So you can't have instant hot water to your fixtures. So kind of a downfall, but at the same time, a lot of times we actually rip out recirc lines, like the recirc pumps. They move water so much. And where we're from, the water is hard, so the hard water eats away at the copper, deteriorates it, and we get pinholes. And a lot of times I'm just disconnecting them anyways.
And then the other downfall too, Carson, is it's going to take that time to travel from the mechanical room for your hot line all the way to your fixture. So let's say it's the furthest fixture in the house. Now you got to wait for the hot water to reach from the mechanical room, travel all the way through your house, right to whatever, it's a sink or a shower, whatever you're using.
So it all depends on how big your house is. If it's a duplex, it's not so bad, but if you're like a big 2-story house and it's like 150 feet away.
Then you're going to be waiting. You'll be waiting a while.
One more downfall is drilling. You have to drill big holes and group them all together, and you're running all these pipes, and it's kind of just a mess. And me personally, I don't think it looks nice unless you do like a really nice job in a mechanical room, and you got all your cold lines coming down nice and neat, and then you got valves and everything's on a nice header. It's not so bad, and then you can sometimes you can stagger your hot and your cold, and it looks pretty cool. Or I know some companies sell pre-built little headers that you can tie into.
For manifolds, So the other nice thing about doing the home run system is that you can label and you can valve every single water line in your house. So let's say you have a toilet or a valve or shower valve that you need to do work to. Now you could just go to the mechanical room, you can locate that shut off, you can shut both the hot and cold to the shower valve. Now the water just to that shower valve is shut off. You don't have to shut the water off to the whole house. That's a really nice benefit to that as well.
But again, it does take up space in the mechanical room, so if you don't have a big mechanical room and you're trying to make it look nice, you start running out of space because there's five to 8 lines or 6 lines or whatever it is per bathroom. You have a few bathrooms and you have all of them coming back to that one space. A home run, I haven't done a home run system since we worked at a different company that we had to do a home run. So we don't really do home runs. So what would be the next one?
I would think for a smaller house, a home run system would definitely be like a bungalow. Not too big a square footage, so you're not going to get that wait time for that hot water to come to your fixtures.
And I think something like that would be nice for like a homeowner type scenario where you don't have to worry about missing crimps, or if you're worried that you're like doing it wrong, you're just running pipes to pipes one end to the other. You have less chance of leakage type of thing.
So our next one we have is called a semi-home run system. So this is where you run all your water lines to the basement, and then you would tie in your water lines in a joist base in the basement. So you would have all your water lines from the top floor and main floor run all together, and then you just have run 3/4 inch lines from that location to where you drop all your lines, and you would run 3/4 inch PEX or 1 inch PEX depending on the size of the house and the volume of water that you're going to be pushing through. And you would run that back to the mechanical room, and then you just have 2 lines feeding the whole house for your hot and your cold.
That's right, and so that's a decent one. So a lot of times, most people don't end up finishing their basements. So you have all your tees and crimps in the basement, and they're fairly accessible, or you could do a T-bar ceiling or something like that, so they are more accessible. But again, you're still waiting a long time. Say your master bedroom's on the other side of the house and your mechanical room's here, you're still waiting a long time for that water to get there.
It's a little less because if you've got the home run system, which let's say we're just going to draw, let's say you got a bathroom here and your mechanical room is down here. Now you've got a line that runs all the way from here to here. So you got to wait for the water to start pumping from here and going up to your fixture. But let's say you got a semi-home run system. Now you got your basement here. So let's say this is a 3/4 inch line that runs out to here. We're going to take this off. So there's a 3/4 inch line that runs out to here now. And let's say somebody's been using the kitchen. So you've been using the dishwasher. So now there's hot water because this is a 3/4 line. This is taken off to the kitchen here, we'll say. So this 3/4 line here is hot now. So now the hot water only has to run from here and up to the fixture versus from here all the way to the mechanical.
That's right. So I guess going into the third style of our preferred way, and again, the semi-home run, you can't really do a recirc unless you did a recirc on that 3/4 line.
Yeah,
then that 3/4 hot line is always full, and then you're only going from that
Always
one
hot.
floor to the sorry, it's hot, yeah.
Yeah.
So you could put it at the end of the 3/4. So if your mechanical room's over here, and then your last fixture is over here, and you're running 3/4, this is a hot line, probably use the red one, but you would put a T here and run your recirc back to your hot water tank to recirculate this hot line to keep it full of hot water the whole time. But anyways, like I said, we're going to go into that third one that we prefer to use. We just call it teeing and crimping, where we just run. It depends on the size of the house. So if I'm doing a big house, like a big custom house, I personally like to run 1 inch in the basement if there's lots of bathrooms, and then I'll take off 3/4 so that I get better flow. Or I've done it this way too, where I do kind of like my own little semi-home run thing that I kind of do is every single bathroom I will run 3/4 to each bathroom, or like one set of 3/4 for like a bathroom and a sink, or like a kitchen. Like I try to group them a bit, and then you can valve them off separately like that. So you'll have like 3 different sets of 3/4. So it's less lines coming back. You get more flow to each set, and then I find that works pretty good. But a lot of times we just, on a 2.5 bathroom house, we just run 3/4 throughout the house and tee and crimp 1/2 inch lines. And then if you want to have a recirc, you would always put it on the furthest fixture. But for me, if it was my house, and I usually do this for other people, I always put it to the master shower, because that's where you want your water instantly, usually.
And it's usually the furthest fixture away is the shower.
Generally, the master shower usually is the furthest fixture for whatever reason, the way the houses are just designed. And then you can put them in different ones, but I don't know that it works properly, because you'd have to run like separate lines. You can't really tee and crimp them together, and if one's pulling here and the other one's pulling, it's going to take the path of least resistance. So it's going to take the shorter line.
Right. Always. Yeah.
It's going to take the shorter line. So the furthest one's not actually going to take it. So you're going to want to try to take it to the furthest line and kind of just do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And what else for tee and crimp? So some of the benefits is that you're going to be using a lot less pipe on tee and crimp.
You use a lot less 1/2 inch, less drilling of holes, smaller holes. You can just run 3/4 and then tee and crimp off. I'd say the biggest downfall is leaks and more chances of missing a crimp. So it depends on what system you're using. If it's just like we use just actual crimpers, we've been doing it long enough, whereas we don't really miss crimps, but it still happens once in a while. So if you're doing a bunch of teeing and crimping, you can miss that crimp and you go crank the water on and it pops it off. You have a better chance. I think the reason why a lot of companies like the home run is because of that, they don't have to worry about their guys missing crimps constantly. They say that, like, I've never had a PEX fitting fail unless it was like really badly crimped. But after crimping a fitting like 16 years, I've never even seen a PEX leak.
Right.
Other than like just a terrible crimp or something like that.
Yeah.
But
or like a bad fitting, like an oval fitting. I've seen one.
If it's manufactured, the fitting is a manufactured defect. But that's fairly rare, and usually I've seen it where they don't have the barbs on them. The fittings are just smooth.
That's not gonna hold. Yeah.
So I would say that's kind of. I can't think of much more for teeing and crimping.
So it'd be more or less for tee and crimp would be, you'd definitely be saving a lot on material for pipe.
Yeah.
And you'd also be saving a lot for labor material or labor cost.
I would say it's quicker.
quicker, right? Yeah.
Quicker and
yeah.
easier, and
The one
I'd
of the,
say it's more efficient. You get more flow because a half-inch line going 150 feet or 60 feet
yeah.
is to me it's going to be less flow. If it's running through a 3/4 line the whole way, and then it's only got 5 feet of half-inch, well then you're going to get more flow to that fixture.
Right.
And a lot of most fixtures are half-inch, and they end up reducing to like a 3/8 or a 1/4 inch.
And then they got an aerator in there anyway.
Yeah, so you're losing like all that flow. So it's like the more flow and pressure that you can get to that closer to the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say maybe some of the one downfall would be if you mix the hot and cold line to a shower by accident.
Yeah.
Right? On a tee and crimp, it would be somewhat of a nightmare to fix.
Right.
On a home run system, everything would be accessible in the basement. So if
If
were
it was labeled
backwards,
properly, then
if it
you
was
could,
labeled
yeah.
properly, it'd be easy to fix the hot and cold.
That's right.
So,
Like if you ran a hot line to a toilet
by accident, yeah.
by accident, it
Yeah.
would be easier to fix downstairs in the mechanical room rather than up in the ceiling type of thing. You'd be cutting open drywall
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
But all in all, tee and crimp is what we do.
Our
Flow
preferred way.
purposes.
And if you're installing stuff, let us know what you prefer. And actually, if you know
Yeah.
a different style, we're always looking to hear. I am personally always looking to find better ways to do what I'm doing. So I'd love to hear what your opinion is. All right, thanks for watching. We hope you got some value out of this one. If you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe and leave some comments, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one, guys.